Quit fucking doing this bullshit dance. Fans can't, whether
It's
it passes
not
or
a dance.
not, whether
You
it
just
comes,
want to
whether it
again.
comes.
You want to attack fans. You want to attack Trump, but you're not attacking Kamala.
I did. The first thing I did was
No,
agree
you're
with
giving
Beto.
her
You know what? Fuck Trump. That dude's a lying, pandering politician who doesn't give a shit about voters. He's a flip-flopper who will go where the votes are and where the money is. He knows some of his policies aren't even going to be feasible, man, but they are promised anyways because he plays to his base, he ignores middle America, and then he goes and chooses a vice presidential candidate who just ensures that that base is going to stick with him because someone more traditional conservative like Haley, Burgum, would have just upset that extreme right. So he's not about America. It's not about the citizens. It's about him, his MAGA party, and their control over our rights. Now, replace Trump with Kamala, he with her, and right with left, and fuck her too. That's what I wanted to let people know who I am on this very first show.
I just hate Kevin.
I feel okay. I feel bait and switched here. I feel this is what liberal media does. This is liberal media 100%. This is when people. This is I feel like what Trump got a week ago when he was hanging out with the people from Niger when he was doing the interview.
Wait, is that how it's pronounced? Are you sure it's Niger?
Yeah.
I don't remember Trump pronouncing it that way.
where they promise like, oh, we just want to be fair and balanced, and we want to have a fair and balanced conversation between the two of us, and so forth and so on. And then as soon as you sit your butt in the chair, they're like, tell us again now. So your first wife, she told us your penis is 2 inches long. What do you have to say about that? It's like, oh, I wasn't prepared for. Can we talk about economic issues? Sure. Let's talk about the economics of you having a 2-inch long penis. And it's like, oh, Juan for like 2 days has been like, I'm gonna rip both of them in half. And then I was like, it sounds like you just want to rail on Trump. No, it's gonna be about both of them doing the same thing. And then he's like, I even convinced him like to switch it, right? Like, why don't you start with Trump and then end with Kamala, rather than start with Kamala, then everybody forgets that it was about Kamala, so that you can rail on Trump. Then here he comes in with Trump, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and Kamala."
All right, listen, Kevin. I would have. Normally, this you would have been maybe somewhat correct. You could have convinced people, but just before we got on, what I did is the first part was supposed to be all Kamala, but I switched it because I didn't want your ass to be saying, "Oh, so now you just got to put Trump at the end so that all people remember is Trump." So I switched it for you, and now you're still complaining.
Yeah, but the thing is, the whole rant was about Trump.
Nope.
And then at the end, all you did was go, "Oh yeah, and Kamala too, fuck her." Oh.
Well, that's what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen at first is I was supposed to say and fuck Trump too, but because you complained last night that Trump was going to be the last person I mentioned, and I'm going to hurt the people with Trump that followed Trump, and I don't want to because I am now a Christian nationalist, and I don't want you to leave it like that. I switched it just for you.
I thought you were going to be more fair, and the whole point was that the way you made it sound was that you were going to go and give both of these people and make this whole compare. You said you had to do research. You were going to make this comparison how they're the same person doing the same thing.
It's the same fucking person doing the same fucking thing. There's just no pleasing you because if I don't go full on Kamala only, you get butthurt, and that's okay. I have shown the people who I am in my beginning rant. You have shown the people who you are, so they already know that Kevin sides more with the Trump side. We'll see where Beto goes.
I've told you guys before, I hate everybody. It's just at different levels. and I just hate the left a little bit more. I can't.
But Beto still can't bring himself to say that he hates the left a lot more, and he kind of likes the right.
He needs his damn roads. How is his roads going to get built without the left to do his bidding?
Listen,
I want to know which party is for roads, and then we'll go from there.
Well, Biden had the infrastructure bill, and you fucking railed on him the whole time.
Yeah, but then they sneak all this other bullshit in there, you know?
Listen, speaking of bullshit, speaking of pandering for my opening rant, here's one of the topics that I wanted to bring up, and that's the promising Nevadans, however you say it, that they're not going to tax their tips. And so I wanted to bring up a couple of points before Kevin tears into me about how I didn't go off on Kamala. One, Kamala was the greatest to bring it up, right? Trump accused her of being a copycat because he brought it up before her. But just so everybody knows, he stole it too. This was actually brought up by one of K-Dub's favorites, Ron Paul, back in 2007, 9, 2011.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
So Trump stole it too.
Again, this sidelining, right? Like this is high siding, is what it is. So you bring up Kamala, Trump accused her of stealing, and it's like, yeah, and then you go, so you're like, and he was right. She stole it from him.
Here's the thing about Kevin's arguments today. Kevin refuses today, for some reason, to just see the fact that both of them stole it. And he hold on. You just want.
I'm fine with one stealing it, right? Here's the issue. It's not that someone may have stolen it from someone else, right? It's the fact that when you at least look at who stole what and who got criticized for it, because I don't recall Trump criticizing Ron Paul for it back in 2007, right? Like, the other thing is, what side was Ron Paul on? He's right wing, right? And maybe, sure, he's libertarian, but he was right wing. And Trump is with who right wing? Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so it's
but back in 2007,
he's just taking a previous idea from the party, because I don't even know if he stole it. He might have just been like, this is a good right wing concept.
Yeah.
That we like.
Kevin. See, here's a bullshit with people that don't want, that kind of want to pander to one side or want to do the whole whatabouts kind of bullshit, because what you're saying is, well, at least Trump took it from the right. No, but Trump is claiming that this was his idea, which is fucking bullshit. First of all. Second of all, it doesn't matter who stole it from who, because my next point was going to be that nobody gave a shit about Nevada and their tips until Nevada became into play. Nobody's promising a free fucking steer to Oklahomans because Oklahomans fucking red. That's the other part of my thing. Both Kamala and Trump are only doing this because they're trying to freaking get your vote. No other fucking reason. They don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about your vote. If Nevada was not in play, Trump and Kamala would have never said this shit.
Well, when did Trump say it?
Like 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? I don't know. It was during the cycle.
Okay. So he's speaking to Nevadians, right?
Yeah.
Nevadans? Nevadans? He's speaking to those people. But again, it's a concept that even if he didn't invent it entirely, and he took it or borrowed it from Ron Paul.
I think Kevin's point is it's a right talking point, not a left talking point. When have you ever? Well, one, if Ron Paul did invent it, it still came from the right, is what Kevin's saying.
Well,
versus
Ron Paul's a libertarian, first of all.
Oh yeah, but he's a Republican. But he runs as a Republican though.
Yeah. Second, well, not during that presidential campaign. He ran as an independent. Secondly, if you look at historically who people want tax cuts for, it's always been that Republicans want tax breaks for corporations, and Democrats want tax breaks for the people, right? So when you're looking at who he's promising it to, he's promising it to the people. Now, if we really wanted to get into the details on a tip not taxing tips, there's a reason why the restaurant industry wants this, because it helps them be able to control that tax, and it helps them be able to get those tax breaks by claiming tips on certain things. All right. So we want to go into the whole right left bullshit.
Hey, real quick, I just fact checked you, and Ron Paul has never ran as an independent.
What do you run as a third party candidate? Libertarian?
No, he's never ran. He's only ever run as a Republican in 88, 2008, 2012.
Okay, well then I was
Ron
wrong.
Paul or Rand Paul?
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't mind that he ran as a Republican, but we all know he was a libertarian. I got fact checked. That's cool. What I'm trying to say though is, even if you go with the whole, this is a Republican talking point. Since 2011, nobody gave a shit until Nevada came into play. This is just a way of Trump to go, oh, hey, I need your votes. Let me give you this. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. And why are people even falling?
Well, I don't know if that's true either, because that's always been a thing that I felt that Republicans, the right, has always just kept. Like, it's been one of those things that you don't touch, right? Kind of like taking away WIC benefits for children, right? Like that the left has. Nobody really. You don't touch taxes. You don't tax tips because it hurts it hurts everybody, to be quite honest. As far as for the right, it hurts their business interests. If you want to say it, they're greedy fat cats. Sure, it also allows them to employ people for $2 an hour. Plus your tips, though, that makes up for it. You know.
Well, here's what I want to know: is are people going to stop pestering me for higher tips now? Because all of a sudden we're expected to now the norm is like 20-25%.
Absolutely not. They're not going to stop pestering you, because the issue with one of the issues that the reason some people don't really think that this is a good idea, anyways, not me. I personally think it's a good idea, is because what's going to happen is by removing that tax on the tips, it allows restaurants to keep wages low, right? It says, well, you just got a raise from the government, so I can still keep on paying you that, fucking $2-3 that they give you to begin with as your base pay. So all they're going to do is pester even more for tips, because now that's where they make their money.
But see, what's always, totally different topic, but what's always troubled me about people expecting higher tips now is it's like suddenly they forgot how math works, right? Because they start saying, well, the price of everything's gone up, right? So now it shouldn't be 15% the norm anymore because prices have gone up. Motherfucker, it's a percentage.
Yeah.
It's still a percentage. So as prices go up, so does the percentage.
Here's the other problem, right? It's not a percentage. This is also a fabrication. It's a Mandela effect, right, of our mind. We believe it's supposed to be 18% because somebody else said that would be the polite calculation, right? For you to be like a Rockefeller and do the right thing, you need to tip 18-20%. A tip used to be just what I felt you deserved as an additional to service, right? Like as that's why it's called a gratuity, because I'm grateful for what you did. And therefore, if I felt grateful, here's a buck. Because, shoe shine boy, or, the Niger opening my car door or whatever it is, here's a little something. And I felt like, I like seeing him there in his little monkey suit every day, and he's opening the door.
Hey, whoa, hey.
Javi is going to have to edit the fuck out of this.
It's okay, everybody. He's black. He can say this stuff.
No, I mean, when I say monkey suit, I mean like those bellhop. That's what they used to call them back in the 20s. Don't you guys like watching noir movies? The little bellhop suit with the little hat, like Rob Schneider had in that movie with the something. Home Alone, yeah. He's no, was that Rob? Yeah, it was Rob Schneider, but it's like coffee. That you just gave a little something extra for service. Like, thanks a lot. Here, have a. It's basically a keep the change situation. That's why you get your little shoes shine by the shoe shine boy, and you'd get up and you'd be like, you'd give him like a whole shiny quarter, and even though the shoe shine's supposed to be a nickel, and you'd be like, keep the change, kid. And you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, but in that case, he's a business owner. He's keeping all of it.
Well, I mean, like, no, but I'm saying that the tip was something extra, and you earned it with service. That's how you differentiated
That's what I
yourself.
used to tell my girlfriend in high school: is that if you want the tip, you got to earn it.
with service. I'll give you 10% at first. If it's good, then I'll go up to 18.
I thought you meant she's got to go diving in all those folds of underwear to find it.
Listen, but anyway, so that kind of does add to the first off. Before I go off to my next point, I just want to make sure and be clear that Kevin doesn't believe that Trump said this in Nevada only for votes.
No, I mean every politician does things for votes, and
Okay, there we go.
this is my
Thank you. That's all I was trying to
my
say.
issue with you. My point is, I'm fine bashing Trump for it, right? I'm fine going after any politician because we all know politicians make all these promises because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole point of running is for votes?
Well, no, it's running to get office to actually serve the people and get things done in the
No, I mean,
interest
but the
of
whole
the
point of
people that you
campaigning
represent.
Yes,
is to
Beto.
gain votes.
Yes, but here's my issue with this. All right, my issue with those votes is that the only reason they're giving that to those people is because they need Nevada. They're not promising that to, like I said, they're not promising everybody something in Texas. Now, the reason they're
Is that
promising,
legal though?
hold on,
Are they doing it? Are they offering it just to Nevada?
I don't
no,
think
no,
it's
no,
just
no,
in
it's
Nevada.
everybody, but he said it in
Oh,
Nevada
okay.
because that's one of those places that where those kind of tips are they're part of most of the economy. But here's here's a bigger issue with it though. Here's a bigger issue. I get it as just for votes, and yeah, the whole point of an election is to win. But these people don't even make enough for this to be a real dent in their paycheck. Most of these people already don't make enough to pay taxes, so they're not paying taxes. So again, this is just fucking pandering politicians.
Whoa, you're making a huge assumption, especially in Nevada, where, like, first of all, like my call girls, they get tipped very well, sir.
Look, again, it's a Republican theme, right? You want to help the rich call girls and not the poor call girls. Not the bus station skank hoes.
No, I like the bus station ones. It's just like we've talked about this. Like when I watch porn, I like the homemade. I can't see because the camera's blurry. You guys didn't set it up right. You have poor lighting. Like that's the stuff that feels real. I don't want the airbrushed like they've got like 4 or 5 of those round like lights that they're using for backlights. Like they're about to shoot a podcast for like Apple. Like no, I like the dim light back alley in their car. Like it looks like somebody stole it off their VHS like type situation. Like oh, this video looks like it came from an Airbnb. Yeah, it's the good stuff. Without their knowledge. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to make a quick point on the stealing of stuff. Are there even any original ideas anymore?
Well, no, that's the point I was getting at. Is that the thing is, people can borrow ideas, anyway, but at least his is more aligned with his side of the like. It's not a far reach. Now, if it was something like he came in and he started talking about black reparations or something like that, right? In like Michigan, then it's clearly because Trump would have crossed way over into a more far Democrat side
Correct.
than he would have, than the other way around. Whereas Kamala in the left, like they've never cared about people's taxes, especially tip taxes.
Well, they do. They
don't
care.
even
They
think you
care
should be
about
getting
raising them.
tips. I think you should all be getting like $15, $17 an hour at a restaurant, period, plus the tips.
Here's the thing, though, Kevin. I agree with that part. I wasn't saying that Trump stealing it was a problem because, like Beto said, these are all ideas that we've had from the past. My issue is Trump saying it was his idea to begin with. That's what I have an issue with. Trump again
Why is that
claiming
the issue?
no,
I
because
thought the issue was that
Trump has to claim everything is fucking his, man. And that's fucking bullshit. And I'm fucking tired of it. Everything he owns it all. He invented this. He invented that. It's like, dude,
okay.
you're not the first one to say
I
this.
think that's his biggest listening to the Elon Musk Trump chat, like that was the biggest thing that was so fucking annoying. It's like dude, you didn't invent everything, and not everything you did was the best ever.
That's all I'm saying.
Like
True.
every fucking thing is like, and and we reduced to the lowest we've ever had, or the best we've ever done. Like, why? Why it
We had
doesn't have to.
we had the tallest
Just the fact
Christmas
that
tree
you
ever.
improved it at all, huh?
We had the tallest Christmas tree ever.
Yeah. It's like, dude, just the fact that you made any improvements should be good enough. Like just tout that. Tout like, hey, we brought from the previous administration, we brought down unemployment, so by so much percentage. Not we had the lowest unemployment ever in the history of the country.
Once you make it hyperbole, people stop believing it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is well, no, I don't think they do. That's the problem. See, I've said this before. You guys don't remember, but I've called this out the same way when this is why Hulk Hogan was like there for his like nomination, right? Because Trump has treated this like both elections, honestly, like the past 8 years of Trump has basically essentially been the WWF, right? Like he's still stuck. Like that's the mentality. Maybe it's a New York mentality. You're from up there, Juan, but the attitude that like
I just moved up here.
the
And
attitude that things got to be like, whoa, like the best we got. The biggest burger. I get it. He's Americana, right? Like Americans do this. This is what we were getting accused of by Europeans the whole Olympics, right? I'm so tired of the Americans talking about when they come into the stadium and there's so many of the medal counts and the USA, US, fuck the USA. And then we came out and we whooped all their asses and we got the highest medal count. And it's like, oh yeah. And they're like, gee, the Americans. Hates the Americans. But I get it. We come out because we're all like, woo, yeah, I'm a real American, baby. And Trump is like that. Every goddamn thing that Trump says has to be like, if he stubs his toe, it was the best stubbing.
but
His
the thing is,
assassination attempt was the most assassinating attempt by that guy was a real sniper. He was a
even
great
even me
sniper.
leaning right, obviously is like it's fucking annoying, dude. Like
well,
just shut the fuck
yeah,
up.
exactly that.
Just
And
shut the
like
fuck up.
Kevin said, like, yeah, we're American. It's American. But Trump isn't American. Trump is Trump, right? He doesn't say, like, America had the lowest unemployment rate. He said, I gave you the lowest unemployment rate ever. And it's like, well,
Exactly.
maybe Republicans, maybe you should play that card. If you at least played that card of, like, hey, Republicans as a whole did this for you guys, vote Republican. But it's always Trump, 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 Trump.
I don't think it's too late. I really sincerely think if he ate a little bit of humble pie, he could fucking like just it'd be a fucking landslide. If he just came in and said we did this or maybe even just kind of shut the fuck up for the rest of the 3 months.
Well, and that's what Republicans are asking him to do right now, man. Like you're in that camp where Republicans who want to vote for him, the ones that still haven't defected, are like, dude, stick to the fucking topics, please. Stick to the talking
Yeah.
points like immigration, inflation. Stick to crime. Stick to that. Don't stop with the fucking crowd sizes. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I don't go, well, Kamala had a bigger Trump crowd, so I'm gonna have to go vote. Like I don't vote on that.
Although they've kind of started doing that shit too, though. Have you seen that?
I was just about to say they haven't started. They've been doing it. They just do it more subtly, and since they're the popular ones, they get a better appearance of it. Like,
But they've even been. Have you seen though when the pictures they've been using? They're like fucking AI.
yeah,
But the thing about the Democrats, and I'm not defending them because again, I don't give a fuck about crowd sizes. They're kind of using it in a way that works for them because they're not saying we got big crowd sizes. They're going, we got bigger than Trump. Who cares about Trump's crowd sizes? They're mocking him with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know, but then they use AI pictures that everybody calls them out on.
yeah. I don't know if that message sells because then you go and you look at polling and situations and certain like that, especially when the counter argument is always going to be the optics because you have the media you have the media on your side.
You guys are fucking boomers right now. It's not about that. It's not about whether the message sells or not, or whether the media does this or not. You guys are forgetting that by Walt saying, look at our crowd size here in Arizona, but it's not like anybody cares about crowd sizes. That piece right there is a clip for Xenials to watch over and fucking over. This is a whole thing. Like, if you read books about how presidential campaigns are won, they're not really won on policy. They're won on emotion. They're won on who's got.
That's what I just said.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But you're saying that that message doesn't sell. It's not about the message selling. It's about how, in today's age, it's about the virality of a clip.
Well, no, I didn't say the message. I said the optics, and I was saying who controls the optics wins. So it doesn't matter, even if their crowd isn't the size. Like Beto was saying, we're seeing a lot of AI to fill out some of these crowds,
and they're being called out on it. So that's the thing. The clips going viral are the clips of people calling out the Harris campaign on the AI pictures.
Yeah, and the thing is, nobody when people aren't necessarily as stupid as politicians that want them to believe they are, right? Because when you look at it, people do see, even subconsciously, even if they don't want to admit it, they'll see things like when Trump has a rally, and then how the left media will seem to go out of its way to shoot like images of it that make it look much smaller or something. And you know what I mean? And so they'll be like, oh, Trump's talking about his huge rally that he had in Michigan, and it's all like aerial shots from 200 miles back from a Timu bot drone, and so it looks smaller. And then you realize, like, oh well, that's also like this field pasture, and the head count actually turned out to be like 10,000 people in rural Idaho. And then you start thinking about, wait, how many people live near that town in Idaho? And you look at the numbers. It's nobody's going to do that kind of effort, right? Whereas the Democrats can get a bunch of people to fill in like the Aztec Theater in downtown Chicago, and then call it like. Plus, they can marshal all these different groups that have built-in social structures designed to force things, right? Like my mom's church. Whenever they have something here, my mom's church, the pastor will send a text message out and get everybody masked up. And it's like, we need you out, prayer warriors, to come to the thing to support our Kamala Harris. And there's a bus, and we're going to be at the church at this time. You need to be there on the bus. There's going to be dinner afterwards. They do that. They get everybody on the bus. Everybody goes trotting down to the Loyola
Hey,
Arena.
is he voting Harris?
Huh?
Is he voting Harris?
Oh, he's non. He doesn't tell his flock.
I'm making sure, because remember, he's my fucking neighbor. Remember?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. When did the media do this for Bush? Yeah, I don't know what that is. When did the media do this for Bush? When did the media criticize Bush's crowd size?
They did, yeah. I'm sure if we go back and look, we'll find something like that.
No, but you can't remember it, right? When did they do that? That's my problem here. That's the issue. You're blaming the media for covering this, but the only reason they're trying to cover this right now is because Trump, like Beto said, people are fucking tired of it. That's what he fucking talks about. So you expect Trump to go, I had the biggest crowds ever, and then nobody to fact check? Like, shut the fuck up, and they won't talk about your crowd sizes.
Well, I'm fine with them calling him out on the crowd size, though. That's not my problem. I mean, if he wants to talk about crowd sizes and they challenge him on it, that's one thing, right? But if you're doing it fairly, don't be like, oh, look at my crowd size. He cares so much. We don't care about crowd size. Don't say we don't care, because all of a sudden you care about crowd size too.
I will give you that.
When you challenge him on it. And the other thing is, don't also challenge people by using like an unfair, like marshaling unfairness. It's just like when the right does stuff like that. When they say like, oh, so and so did, it's like the thing with Kamala, like sucking her way to the top, right? Like, oh, she was in it. How many people on the right did a number of unconscionable things that your Bible would not agree with, to get to be in the top, senator, congressman, whatever the hell you want to say?
We haven't seen the last pictures of JD Vance and what he did to get there. Those pictures are
Well,
coming out.
no, that's not what he did to get there. Stop it. See, this is that media spin, that left spin. My point is, we were talking about the tips, right? And it goes back to this. Whether we know Trump's going to say this, and Trump may have mentioned like the tips in Nevada, and maybe because to Nevadans, the tips is an issue, and it makes sense then because he's speaking to an issue, and he was speaking to it first, whereas no Democrat was talking about it, right? And then maybe he heard like like in Nevada, these people are talking about this whole tip thing. Maybe it's become a big issue in Nevada. I don't live there, so I don't know. This might be something that Nevada is trying to push onto their ballot, or like is on a state or local level, right? So, but it does impact people nationally because we see this thing with the tips. I think the whole tip argument, it's about time we addressed it as a nation to begin with, because we've talked about it on this show in advance of everybody else because we're smart, right? And we talk about real shit.
I mean, other than the pandering for votes, why just tips?
Because again, that's an easy target. That's my issue with this. It's an easy target, right? Because one, people don't make enough anyway, so it's not like you're really helping anybody. So let me get to my fourth point, and it'll kind of explain it, right? So my fourth point is fuck economists who keep on saying that this is not feasible, because their only excuse for this not being something that the government can do is because the government will lose 150 to 250 billion in 10 years. All right. You know what? Good. Let them fucking restructure the budget. 150 to 250 billion is not that much in 10 years. Ukraine got that shit in 3 from us. Ukraine got like 100 and something billion in 3 years. You can't go ahead and use 150 billion to get rid of
man,
the
fuck our people.
That's what I'm saying. But
hey, fuck you, Americans.
But because it's only 150 billion in 10 years, that's 15 billion a year, a drop in the bucket. That's my issue with this. You're freaking pandering for 15 billion that is just like a drop in a fucking bucket. You can promise that?
Yeah, just buy one less missile.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. How come they don't say, you know what, we're going to lower taxes across the board for everybody making less than $200,000?
Well, that's kind of why I'm asking why other than the obvious answer is for votes, but other than the votes, why just tips? But the thing about it, man, the thing about it though is remember that people that make very little already don't pay taxes though. So it's I mean, now kind of talking through it, if they remove taxes on tips, they're removing what taxes?
That's what I was trying to get to on my third. That's what I said on my third point. That's what I said on my third point. That the reason I'm so upset with this is not because they're removing the taxes on tips or because they promise. I'm good with it. Anything for less taxes, count me in, right? My issue is you're taking an item that you just said, one, most of those people don't make enough to pay taxes anyways. And two, the taxes that you do eliminate are a drop in the fucking bucket on the federal budget, that it's easy to make that promise. Why don't you make a better promise, like taking small business and cutting their taxes to fucking 5% so they can grow and hire more people?
I would. I would in a heartbeat hire more people if I could.
But you can't do that
you've
because
seen it already.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I can tell you why. Because if you guys remember back in your day working service industry, right? The reason why people don't want to get taxed on tips and why even the government would want to do it is because the dirty little secret is people make a shitload of money on tips. Tips make bank. I've known, working as bouncers in clubs and working at bars, I've known people who can work 2-3 nights a week as a bartender, right? Or as a stripper. And they consider that money tips, right? But they're taking home $800 in tips a night, right? They're making super bank on that. I know people that at my bar that I hang out with. I know people that work at these restaurants that are considered more high end, like your Morton Steakhouse type place, right? I don't want to name drop the places they actually work, but they work at those places where you're talking about a dinner for two is well over like $100 or something like that, but they're tips because people that go to these sort of things can either, one, I've always felt that people are either intimidated into making high tips, or people want to show off like the Trump type personalities. They feel like they like, look how I'm wealthy, I'm badass. Here's a $40 tip. I mean, look at the internet, right? You've seen these videos or articles where someone left like some waitress a $5,000 tip or $10,000 tip. Celebrities do it like on the slide. It's like, and then the management was like, we're taking that shit. And it blows up into a whole like thing because the poor waitress, like the manager's like, no, we keep the tip and split it amongst everybody. Oh, it's $10,000. And it's like, no, that was meant for that waiter. You guys have seen those things on the internet. Well, it turns out a lot of people make a ton of money off their tips. And if they actually had to, basically they're supposed to. Most places, say that you're supposed to, report your tips so they can verify that you're making tips, but it's not a certain. Most people will downplay that. I might make $800 in tips one night at Hard Body's like nail salon or whatever, but I'll turn right around and say I made $60,
Well, you
$70.
can
So,
you can on cash tips though. You can't do that on credit card tips.
yeah, and well, they just augment. But even then, as long as you're protecting tips, right? This is the thing. If people had to, and then you probably lose those receipts. Like somebody's going to do the accounting. It's not going to be you, the poor person. So at the end of the day, well, when you tip your barber or whatever the case may be, a lot of times too is like those cash tips, they add up. It's just like homeless people. I hear they make like, you can make like $400 or $500 in cash a day on a good corner, right? If they had to file taxes at the end of the year, these people who fall well below the tax margin, they or they're gonna be like, what I was making. They report $20,000, in annual income on their pay, their salary. They made $70,000 or $80,000 in tips. And if they get pushed to that bracket, then they're going to get hit with all the, all the ones that they like to hit the one percenters with or so forth.
I really don't think there's a. I think the waiters making that much are very few, man. Percentage
I
wise,
don't. I think I'm pretty sure that most decent waiters,
I don't think so.
at most restaurants are making,
I
because
really don't.
of what you said earlier,
No,
the
man.
18% mentality.
Look at San Antonio alone, man. Look at San Antonio alone. San Antonio probably has, what, 25 high-end restaurants maybe, and 1,000 fucking taco places.
Yeah, but think about it. How many people eat at those taco places? And you're making a living. Like I'm not saying that everybody who works in a restaurant is is costing $100,000 a year, right? But they are making enough to own homes.
No, according to statistics, according to the government statistics, most of the population that works on tips does not make enough money a year to pay any taxes. Even double
Because they're not counting the tips. Of course they're not. They're making $2 an hour, but they're making $700 a night in tips. But they're not reporting the tips.
Well, okay, so
I mean,
wait. That takes me back to my point. Then or Juan's point too, is they're still not. You're still not gaining anything or by taxing those tips because they're not reporting them to begin with.
well, I'm not arguing that they should be doing that. I'm saying why it's an issue for those.
It's a pointless. It's a completely pointless thing to implement. Period. Because the majority, the average annual earnings for a server is 30 to 40,000.
Yes.
So what are they really doing? What are they really? What do you?
That was exactly my point. Is that the whole reason I have a problem with the tip thing is not whether they stole it or didn't steal it or whatever. The whole issue I have with it is exactly what you pointed out. That it's one of those where you can pander to people for fucking votes in a state that's a toss-up. That was my main concern, my main issue with both parties bringing this up. that the only time
they're offering something that means absolutely fucking nothing just to get votes.
correct.
It sounds cool.
Exactly.
Basically,
Yep.
what you guys are saying though is you guys basically what you're doing then is you're saying like also there are 46 million kangaroos in Australia, and the like water's still wet, right? Because we understand it. There's no point in doing it other than pandering to the base. But somebody decided that it was enough of a significant issue, and maybe it does work. I mean, who's going to be the one to start taxing it anyway?
So then do it.
Who was trying to tax it from the beginning?
So then just fucking do it. Like Kamala. Don't go in there and say, I'm going to take it away. Go ahead and go back home. Have the House or the Senate draft up a bill and see if you can get it through. Don't fucking talk about it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah. That's the problem I have. My biggest problem with Kamala is she's promising shit she should be working on now. And I get it. I know she's not the president. I know. I get all that. But you should be pushing for this already while you're fucking in there. And be in fucking Joe Biden's face and being like, hey, we gotta do this shit, man. And record and have fucking cameras around, you know? That are recording you doing this shit or whatever. But what the fuck are you telling me you're gonna do something when you're fucking in there right now? Fucking do it. Why are you telling me you're gonna do it when you're already there?
In that case, though, we can also say the same thing about J.D. Vance, right? He's also a senator.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know what I'm
Hold
saying?
on, he's a senator who represents a state that represents a state of people.
Yeah,
so
but
his power his power to do anything is extremely limited unless he's wrangling this up.
well, yeah, but so
who's got more pull though? Who's got more pull right now? The sitting vice president, or one single senator?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? Because the vice president can't introduce bills, a senator can.
I know she can't. That's what I was making that point earlier. Is I know her position, but I'm saying.
But a vice president serves nationally, right? A vice president serves a national interest. A senator serves his state. And so, hold on. If it's not an issue in his state, he should be focused on introducing things that represent the people that put him there. His state. That may not be the top issue for the people in his state. He needs to be working on those issues. So I give him a pass on that, like any senator. Just like California. How come Gavin Newsom didn't put it forward? Because it's not an issue for his people, even though he's a governor, right? It's not, he's representing. This is where we can't say as Republicans we want states' rights and love states' rights and sit at the states' rights, and then immediately turn right around and go, once you're on the national stage, you should be pushing nationally. The other thing is, she's the vice president. She is the vice president, and she's the one bringing it up in her campaign. J.D. Vance didn't bring it up. She did. So if you're going to bring it up, back it up.
Trump brought it up. Why? So Ohio doesn't have. Hold on. Trump brought it up as part of their campaign. Ohio has tip earners. J.D. Vance can't introduce a bill to say, hey, since Ohio has people that earn tips, we're going to go ahead and start working on this, and I'm going to introduce this bill as the senator from Ohio, a state with tip earners.
Well, one, it's like been 2 weeks.
No. Don't fucking try to defend that shit.
No. Hold on. First of all, no, here's the thing. Again, J.D. Vance is just on the campaign trail. He's just walking out, right? He can do this. Here's the difference. He didn't know anything about this shit until 2 weeks ago.
No,
right?
Trump's been like a month ago.
No, he was picked 2 weeks ago. Hell, he may not be vice president next week. Considering the situations, he might get dropped. We don't know that situation. Kamala's been vice president for 4 years, and she still has capacity. She has way more pull than J.D. Vance has. Way more. Even as a senator, he'd have to go right up. He'd have to take time out, write the bill.
Hold on, Kevin.
The bill.
Hold on, Kevin. What? You make no fucking sense right now. You're saying Kamala has an easier path to introduce a bill than a senator?
No, I did not say she has a
Okay,
bill.
so
I said that this was
JD Vance can introduce a bill. Number one, he can introduce a bill. Number two, JD Vance was picked a month ago. July 15th was the RNC. He was picked a month ago, not 2 weeks ago.
well, it's
Number
2-3 weeks
three,
in our mind.
number
It's
three,
a fast month.
Number three, just like Beto said, Kamala is in a position to do this tip thing, right? So is JD
Yes,
Vance.
she's in a better position.
No, she's not in a
real
better position. The vice president.
She's in a much better position.
Tell me the last vice president who introduced a bill to the Senate.
Well, no, it's not about it's not about, in my opinion, it's not about necessarily the introduction of the bill, because she can't. I don't think she can do that. It's more about you're in the executive already, right? So you know it's going to get signed. Or
yeah, if it passes, it gets signed.
And two, obviously, she's the tie-breaking vote, right? If it came to that. And three, when you pass bills, a lot of it is negotiations. So who would have more sway over votes in Congress than Kamala?
And whose administration is it? Whose party administration is it?
Let me answer that.
Like I said, she's got the power to do it right now. She has the power. She's got her whole party.
Here's my other. Wait. Here's my last. Here's my last point with that, real quick. Also, is who's the one running for president right now, Kamala or JD Vance?
Hold on. Let me answer that. Hold on.
I wouldn't compare Waltz to Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Let me answer the questions. One, Kamala doesn't have any more pull than JD Vance, because in order for a bill to pass, you need, hold on, man. You need 60 votes. Not only that, the GOP controls the House, right? If JD Vance brought this up as a bill, okay, and it passed the House because they control the House, JD Vance doesn't need any votes, any negotiations. They control the House. They pass it. It goes to the Senate, and it ties, right? Because Joe Manchin votes with Republicans. You're telling me that the vice president, who just said she would eliminate it, would not be caught in a hard place, between a rock and a hard place, to be the tie-breaking vote and say, yes, I'm going to have to vote for that because I just said so? JD Vance has a lot of fucking power right now. So no, I don't say that she has more power than he does. He has the same amount of power that she does, mainly because he can just go into the Senate today and introduce the bill. He is able to do that.
She wouldn't be caught behind anything hard for very long, because she'll take care of business, and then it'll be soft.
To answer your question on he's not running for president. No, he's not. But his presidential candidate did say this is what he wants to do. So Trump can't go to JD Vance right now and go, hey, man, you're in the Senate. Let's push this fucking through and say we did it.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. Don't blame either side just because both sides aren't doing it. I get it, but both sides have the power. Answer me this, Kevin. Do both sides have the power to introduce this bill?
Yes.
Yes. Do both sides have the power to get the votes to pass this bill?
No.
That's untrue, Kevin. You know that.
No, it's not. I'm letting you get to all your points, and I'm going to come back and address.
How does Kamala have more power to get the votes?
Because she's vice president and Joe Biden is president. It's her administration, right?
No.
And not only that. Hold on. I let you go. Let you go. Let me explain it. Right? Because Kamala has she is more, like you said. Who is she? She is vice president. Who is JD Vance? He is a nominee for vice president. A nominee. For a guy who may not even win. For a guy who's not even popular in his own party. Right? Like, he had to, basically, the people had to stomp all over because the Republican Party, the GOP, was ready to replace his ass with anybody they could fucking find. They didn't want him. They ran everybody they could. Unlike Kamala, who just stepped into her nomination, right? Who didn't even she didn't get voted for. The people, they didn't even get a chance to decide from someone else. They just said, oh, Biden's out. Oh, well, get that bitch in next. And that's it. They just said, here's your new candidate. Here it is. And then she's the one that brought up. Trump said, when I'm in office, I'll do that. She picked up the challenge, right? So when you pick up the challenge, you're the one that's got to back it up because I said something. Hold on. I'm not finished. So then JD Vance. J.D. Vance, who is not even a senator who most people gave a shit about a month ago. I'll even give you that 4 weeks, right? Until he was announced as the vice president. He's a senator who could introduce a bill. He could go write one. He could introduce it. Okay? The thing is, that bill still has to go through. You still, who controls the Senate, the House and the Senate? Republicans. Do they have a strong majority? Fuck no. Right? So we all know that they don't have, that he's going to need votes. Here's the problem. Not all the Republicans like him or Trump. They would love for both of them to go take a long walk off a short pier so they can put in a candidate who they think is more controllable for their party, has their party's interest, honestly represents the party even better than this loud talking orange idiot that won't shut the fuck up every 5 minutes talking shit. Now, Kamala, being vice president, she's the one who has all the big badass draws, right? We're being told how badass she was in California, right?
Let me just
she
say
walks
one
in,
thing.
hold on, I'm not finished.
Hold on.
She walks in.
Let me just say one thing.
She can tell any senator. All these people who are out here kissing her ass on stage, right? Every one of these Democratic senators should be able to walk out and go, Kamala, she should be. I want you. There should be a lot people lining up to suck the Kamala dick, right? Because this is the same thing that people said. They overplayed their hand. They said the exact opposite thing about Dick Cheney. Oh, he had all the power behind the scenes. Oh, the Dick Cheney, the man who was controlling America, the puppet master. He was Palpatine. Now all of a sudden, we're like, oh, the vice president doesn't have any real power. She can't do anything.
One, I didn't say Kamala didn't have any power. I said they both have the equal power to introduce a bill.
They don't.
Hold on. Yes, they do. Hold on.
The other's a senator.
It's my turn. Yeah. So if you want to go by that, the senator has more power to introduce the bill because he actually works there. 2, you are showing some nativity scene? Naivete? Because you keep on talking about how she's a tie-breaking vote in the Senate. To pass a bill like this, you're going to need the 60 votes. It's not just a slim majority in the Senate. So, and number 3, hold on, number 3, no, hold on. No. You didn't let me interrupt you. I'm going to say my third point. I want to say my third point. I'm going to say my third point. You didn't let me interrupt you. Number 3, if Kamala has so much power to go in there today and pass this bill because you say everybody's going to bow the knee down to her and pass it, to include the,
that's what she said.
To include the Republican-controlled House, then why? Answer me this one, and then I'll let you go to your point. Why didn't they pass that immigration bill that would have helped Kamala and Biden that Trump said, don't pass it? How come that didn't pass if she has so much power against the Trump-Vance ticket?
Oh, that's easy. They didn't want it.
Okay.
No, I mean, when all else, right? Like it's like Sherlock Holmes, right? When you eliminate all other logical conclusions, the only thing left is the illogical, right? Or the impractical. No matter how irrational or how impractical, must be the truth. They just don't. It's the same thing. I'll say the same thing when Republicans are in power. They just didn't want to do it. They could have passed an immigration bill 4 years ago.
But the Democrats voted for it, Kevin.
8 years ago. They could have did 8 years ago.
Republicans tanked it, not Democrats. They wanted it.
But I understand that. I'm saying that. I'm agreeing with you. I don't know what you're. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it's because they don't want to do it.
If Democrats wanted it,
the reason
nobody wants to do it.
Wait. The reason the bill failed, from what I remember, is because it had they bundled other shit in there like aid to Ukraine and all this other bullshit.
The bill actually had all the votes. The bill had the votes to pass. And then Trump called in and said, don't vote for this because it's going to hurt my re-election chances. Right? So then Republicans.
What's the source on that?
Hearsay, though.
What's the source on that, though?
I don't have it.
That's hearsay.
Okay, it is hearsay. It's hearsay.
It's always hearsay.
Absolutely hearsay. It is hearsay. But you can't tell me that it's not sus, as Beto uses sometimes, that the bill had all the votes as it stood. And then the guy who drafted it came out and said the only reason they all changed their vote that same day, Kevin. Come on. Don't make shit up just because you want to try to defend your side.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything just now. My point is,
admit that Trump tanked that bill, and that Kamala doesn't have the power.
And then you just find a way to rip on the right.
I'm not trying to rip on the right. I'm ripping on both of them.
Trump has, so what you're arguing is that me and Beto are saying that Kamala has real power to do something.
I said yes.
Real power. Yes. But then your counter argument is, well, Trump has maybe nebulous power behind the scenes.
No, I said Vance had power.
No, I'm talking about right now. What you're talking about is like...
I agree with Kevin.
Two different points, man.
J.D. Vance was an unknown, like Kevin said, though. He's still a junior senator, right, I would think. And Kamala's been there a lot longer. She's already in the executive. She's the one running for president. I would think she has a lot more pull, though,
a lot more pull with
to
who,
get shit
though?
done.
With who?
Huh?
That's my argument. If Kamala had so much pull and the Democrats wanted the immigration bill to pass because that's their biggest weakness, why didn't that bill pass?
Because it was bundled with other shit. If she was smart...
Okay, that's what I'm saying, though.
If she was smart... Hey, I let both of you talk. If she was smart and she really cared and wanted to get this shit passed, or anything she's saying passed, why couldn't she get somebody to... She can't do it, but get somebody to introduce a new bill, a single item bill, and get that shit through? Because who's going to vote on a single item bill for now, for example, as the no tax on tips? Who's going to vote against it if it's a single item bill? Because they have no way of backing out. With other bills, people can back out because they can say, "Hey, you bundled this and you bundled that, and I can't support that," and it's easy to back out. But if it's a single item bill and you really fucking care, why couldn't you do it now?
Not only that, but you keep saying like
because Kamala
you mean she can't get Chuck Schumer or Amy Klobuchar?
Dude, you guys really think that Kamala is going to introduce this bill?
I lost you.
The internet frozen. The internet's like, nah, stop this bullshit.
You guys really think that Kamala is going to introduce a bill to eliminate taxing on tips, right?
She can't.
Hold on. You guys are saying that
she's... Why are you making excuses? Hold on.
Can I finish my fucking point before you counter it? You guys think that Kamala has so much power that she's running for president.
Yes.
Promised to cut these taxes, right?
Yes.
After Trump, she's going to bring this to the Senate and to the House, and the House is going to give her that win just because it's a single issue bill? You guys really think she has so much power that the House is going to flip on Trump and give her the
win? But she could try. She could make the effort.
So can J.D. Vance, that's the problem.
No, the difference is if she made the...
I'm going to fucking mute myself.
Here, you don't want me to ever respond to this when that exact point, because I keep trying to push it and you always like try and redirect me, and I see what's happening. What you're not realizing is J.D. Vance is a junior senator who doesn't have hardly any clout. You are correct. He can walk in there and throw together and just throw out some piece of paper that he wrote on a napkin, like, here's my bill, House Bill 4921865. No taxes, no tips.
So
and then everybody will be like, can we vote on it? Who decides what gets voted on in the House, by the way, when bills are introduced? Hold on. Because you can't just walk in and be like, morning, everybody. I've got a bill ready. It's got to be introduced. It's got to go through committees, right? He's got to have the chance to do it. Who's going to say today's order? How's he going to get on the docket for today's order, right? Who controls that? The left, right? So his bill gets pushed back to... You're right. He could upload to his website that he's created a bill that he wants to introduce, and it may get introduced sometime between now and 2026. But that's, whenever they have time on the bill. But you know who Kamala has? She has access to Chuck Schumer, Amy Klobuchar, right? all these big time badass Diane.
Are you fucking serious right now? Oh my God, I don't understand the argument. Hold on.
No, because hold on, I'm not finished. The difference is she can go to those people, right, and say, Chuck, I need you to make this happen for me, because those are her allies and her powerful friends. Powerful friends that have control, right?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I already said Kamala should be doing this, right? I did say that. I agreed with that. Hold on. Kamala has
the same capacity.
Kamala has powerful friends in the Senate because they control the Senate, right? Yes,
Cory Booker.
Okay, hold on. Who controls the House? Mike Johnson, who sucks Trump's dick every Sunday.
Okay,
you're telling me Trump doesn't. You're telling me Trump doesn't have powerful.
No. Let's go back. No. I'm agreeing with you. Let's go back to what you were just saying.
I am done with it. I'm done with it.
That brings me to my last point. That brings me to my last point on why Kamala has more sway is she sucks dick, and 57% of Congress is male.
Listen, all I'm trying to say is I agree with Beto, right? Kamala should can bring this up. But to say that the reason she can bring it up is because she's got representation in the Senate, and then to say Trump can't bring it up because he doesn't have representation in the House is fucking bullshit. If you're going to fucking go off on both parties, then go off on both parties, or don't say that you don't want one more than the other. Okay? No, you can't say that Kamala's not a senator, but she has friends in the Senate, and then say Trump is not in office, but he's got friends in the House that can bring it up for him too. It's the same fucking thing. Mike Johnson sucks his dick daily. Come on.
No, these
you're showing your partisanship right now, and that's okay.
No, there's no partisanship. I don't care about that. Everybody knows I don't care about Trump. But
nobody knows that.
It's strategic. No, but here's the thing. It's strategic.
This is our first show. Nobody knows.
Trump's trying to win office, right? So he's trying to make. He's putting forth something that basically the bait, right? The carrot and the stick. You get me into office, I will make this happen. Kamala cannot come along and then bite the same carrot and then go, well, if you put me back into office, I'll do this. You can't come take he had an idea because he's running an election. So if we're gonna go under this premise that people are making campaign promises to get things done and debate people, well, you can't say it's like Trump saying, well, if I win, I'll give my son a new car. Well, why don't you give him a new car now? Because he has the capacity to do it right now. Trump doesn't have that capacity.
So does JD Vance, though, man. Quit fucking doing this bullshit dance. Vance can, whether it passes or not, whether it comes,
you want to attack Vance, you want to attack Trump, but you're not attacking Kamala on it. You're giving her a pass.
The first thing I did was agree with Beto
by making it an excuse.
No, the first thing I did. The first thing I did when Beto said it is that's fucking right. She should be doing this. The only thing
then you can stop right there.
No, the only thing,
she's the one that picked up the challenge.
The only
Trump
thing,
made a claim, and that's it.
Look, here's what you are arguing, and this is what I'm trying to counter. Kamala should be doing this. My whole fucking point was that this is pandering because this should be getting done regardless of whether Nevada's in play or not. That was my first point. Number two, when Beto said that Kamala should be doing this, I immediately said that's fucking true. She should be in there getting this done. Hold on.
Then you immediately said Vance should be doing it too. See, you undercut your own argument because you can't do it without bringing up Trump or Vance.
Correct.
Without bringing up Trump or Vance.
Of course I can, because it's the same fucking bullshit on both sides. But you just want, so what you want to do is you want to get on the show, do a show where you shit on Kamala the whole show, but don't bring up the fact that JD Vance also has the power. Whether he gets to a vote is irregardless.
But we did bring that up.
But you're saying that he doesn't.
He doesn't have the power of Kamala. I didn't say he doesn't have the power to do it.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I just don't think it'll go anywhere.
You want to shit on Kamala? Go ahead. I'll shit on her with you if she likes it. Okay? We'll shit on her together, Kevin, and that's fine. But don't come at me and go, but JD Vance can't.
I'll come on you and I won't.
All right, don't tell me JD Vance can't. Then don't bring up a point that the reason Kamala can do it is because she's got friends in the Senate when you know that Trump has friends in the House. Like, you can't, in all seriousness, come in here and say that she's got power.
Yeah,
Hold on,
okay.
just let me finish. You can't come in here and seriously, with a straight face, say she has friends in the Senate to introduce it and not say that Trump also has friends in the House to introduce it. I'm saying they both fucking suck at this and they both could be doing something about it. Trump is not, because it's a campaign promise. I get it. But they both have the power to contact people in their respective leaderships to get this on the floor. That's all I'm saying.
So they both have respective power to get it introduced, right? But okay, so which one do you think has the most power, the House or the Senate?
Nobody has power without the other one, right? Because the House has to pass it. They have to pass it.
Who has the greater influence, or in that balance of power? I know there's supposed to be a balance of power, but who typically has a higher balance of power, the House or the Senate?
Well, the House has tanked a lot of shit, to include their own shit.
Because the House has this number situation where they have a little bit more balance within the House. The House polices itself, but who polices the House? Ultimately, what we're talking about is that the senators tend to have the greater power, plus they have who presiding? A vice president. So this is my point, is that when it comes down to the ability, Trump could get somebody. I agree with you. I never disagreed. He could get somebody in the House to introduce it, except for the fact that he's not very popular there. Now, he could find some asshole probably to maybe exert his influence, but Trump brings it up because it is a political ploy for him. It's an influence. It's something it's something he needs to convince people to allow him, right, to get to show people, hey, if you elect me, maybe I can get this done, right? The difference, though, is that Kamala has now come back and taken that same thing and said, well, he's going to do it. We're going to do it too. Well, now it becomes a question of ownership. See, Trump's trying to get elected, so he's making a promise. Hold on. He's making a promise.
I completely agree.
I get that. If I would have the same attitude if it was reversed. As a matter of fact, I do have the same attitude. I agree with you when it comes back to immigration. Because I always go back to, what did you do for the 4 years you were sitting in office, Trump? And it proves that what I was saying about the party not supporting Trump as a president, because those guys hate him. Otherwise, they had the power to get an immigration bill passed. Something. They could have got his wall built if they really, really wanted to. They could have made some concessions down the way. Look, we're going to give, we're going to put in here in the House bill to build the border wall, storybooks with drag queens, extra $2 million in spending or some shit like that, right? And that could have, they could have got what they wanted, but they don't. My only issue with this is that, one, the balance of power is not equal. Not only that, but the optics are not equal. Democrats tend to like to play this, we're very united front, right? Like, the Democrats have all this power. They are the party of get things done and of unity, whereas the right is fractured in a bunch of different ways, at least as far as the media is concerned. So why don't they then take this opportunity to just do it? Because you can't say, well, why didn't Trump do it when he was? Well, no, but the point is, you're saying you can. You're saying you can now. So if you're saying, well, Trump was saying it, but I can do it too. Well, if you can do it too, prove it. Why wait? Why does it? We get why Trump said it.
But the thing is, I agree with you on all that. I started by agreeing with Beto on that point. My point also was, though, that Trump's team does have somebody that can do it now. Secondly, why not do it? If I was a Trump campaign, I'd be like, oh, that bitch wants to do it. She wants to take ownership. Let's take it back. JD Vance introduced this shit, and then when the Democrats don't vote for it as a single issue bill, now we have the upper hand. Now we can say, look, man, she can promise whatever she wants, but she doesn't have the power to get her people to pass it through. And
It's not a
uh,
one, but that's
hold
not
on,
a
let
one
me
to
just say
strategy.
one more thing, and then I'll let you talk without interrupting. The border bill, the immigration bill, the Republican statement says nothing about the fact that it had anything in there for Ukraine or Israel. They said that among its many flaws, it expands work authorizations for illegal aliens. Uh, it's the language allows illegals to be released from physical custody, more like a catch and release policy. The authority bill is anything but, and it's riddled with loopholes to grant far too much discretion authority to the Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. It says that it's got things in there that could result in abuse of power for the president. So no, it had nothing to do with the fact that Ukraine or Israel were in there. I don't think they were in there, but if they were, Republican statement said it has nothing to do with that. It was with the actual policies that were in there about immigration. Again, though, it takes me back to before Trump had told them not to vote for it, which I know is hearsay. I don't have the phone call, but that's what a lot. Actually, Mitch McConnell said it, and so did Lindsey Graham. Lately, said it again that Trump told them not to vote for the bill, and he doesn't understand why. It's his own words, and McConnell said the same thing. It's his words. He says a quote where it says Trump told us not to vote for this. That's why the bill failed. Again, if Kamala has so much power to pass something, why did that immigration bill fail when most of them were on board? And even when they weren't on board, if she really has that much power to sway people, this should have passed because it's the Democrats' biggest weakness. She should have
I
used
think
the power.
sometimes I think sometimes bills are designed to fail though.
They
I think
are.
sometimes
But
they'll throw in shit like what you're saying right now is that I was gonna make that point earlier, but I know you guys were in it. But I know it had a lot to do with there was a lot of like I don't know if pardoning is the right word, but where they were gonna give a lot of concessions to people that have already crossed over.
well,
There
no,
was
I
a
get,
lot
I
of
get
that.
that. So that's what this is saying. Their statement is saying what you're saying right now. My issue is again, my argument right now is two things, right? One, that even Republicans like Lindsey Graham came out and said Trump told us not to vote for this. Two,
Yeah,
Again, I
hold
don't
on.
know.
My second
I'd have
point.
to see
My
Lindsey
second
Graham
point
actually
is,
make that quote.
yeah, I'll show you the quote whenever we get off. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you. He just said it like 2 weeks ago. Two, you guys are saying that Kamala has the power to pass a bill because she controls the Senate. My question is even if Republicans oppose this, you guys are saying she has so much power that she can pass anything she wants. Immigration is the Democrats' biggest weakness right now. Why didn't she use that power that Kevin, I don't know if Beto really said it, that Kevin says she has to pass any bill? Why didn't she use that power on the immigration bill? You're saying she has so much power to pass that tip bill,
I
but
never
she
said
didn't
she
have the
had the
power to
power to pass
immigration.
it. I said she had. I never said she had the power to pass it. I said she had more power than Vance does to get it done. She has the ability though, because
Yeah,
she's
she
got.
does, of course. Yeah.
She has the access to different. Even the people that Trump would get to possibly introduce it into the House versus the people that she has to
my
introduce it.
only and honestly
He
my
has
only
the.
point my only point at the beginning was more of the optics of it, right? Which is what we were talking about at the beginning. Is it's all perception, and right now she's already in the executive. Was my point really? Is she's already in there? She's already in the executive. Like why? That was my whole point. Is the perception, right? The perception to a lot of people is you're already in there, dude. It's like when Trump would make promises in 2020 on his campaign. It's like, dude, you're already fucking in there. You know? Like why aren't you already doing it? You're still in there for the next 6, 8, 12 months, whatever it is. Like, don't campaign on this shit.
That was my point. Like I look at things that a lot of these politicians say, like Trump, and it's like just like recently when he's like, I mean, these guys say a bunch of stupid things that that to me, I'm like, they should be called on, but they don't. I mean, when Trump was saying like, you won't have to vote anymore if you vote for me, it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, that's the thing that makes me like, you guys like people can say Trump speaks his mind and respect him for that and all that whatsoever. To an extent, I agree. Me and Beto have been over this before, where the one thing he respects about Trump is that he speaks his mind. He says what the average man would want to say. But but to me, It's like sometimes he just talks a lot of shit that just needs to like he can't even back it up.
Well, the
You know
main
what I
thing
mean?
that I like about him is that, or I should say, maybe the one thing I don't know is that he's not a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I mean, can
I
you
mean,
think of a lot of stuff that he's like backed down on? You know,
Yeah, electric vehicles. He just called Musk a piece of shit like a month ago. And all of a sudden he
he
loves Musk.
he didn't. He called him a piece of shit. Look, and when you say that Trump's not a bitch, I don't know. I was listening to the other conversation he was having with Elon Musk the other night.
Trump also was very happy about the fact that he elected a real conservative Supreme Court that overturned Roe versus Wade, and now he wants to try to stay away from that topic. Because why? It's good because it helps his campaign, right, to not focus on abortion. But then don't say that he's not going to back away from shit. Don't back away from it, man. If you're that guy, don't back away. I know why you have to back away. I know why he has to back
No,
away.
no, no, no. I wasn't going to say why. I'm saying I was about to say it's actually a smart strategy because Roe v. Again, when you're talking about, to me, the discussion would be done right. If I was president or I was Trump, I'd be like, "What? We're still talking about? No, no, it's not an issue. My stance is abortion is a states' rights issue, and that's it. And just walk away. We're done talking about this as a national issue. It's not a
I have
national
to
issue.
say I do like that lately too, and you guys should too as libertarians. And I know we briefly touched on this on chat, but
I'm not a
the
libertarian.
fact
Fuck
that
business.
the fact the fact that he wants to send more shit to the states, I think you guys should really be happy. I'm not saying he's a libertarian. I'm just saying that's a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the whole thing with passing shit to the states is that they're okay with passing that kind of shit to the states, but they're not okay with passing uh, guns to the states, right?
No, I'd be fine with that too.
No, no, they're not.
We already
They're
have
not
that.
okay.
We have that to an
Well,
extent
yeah.
already, right? Like
Well,
the
well,
gun issue.
the thing about it though is that there's
Illinois.
some shit is constitutional.
Yeah, no, I
There's a
get it.
big difference there. There's a
I
huge difference between guns and education, man.
no, I get. No, I get it. But if you are really, if you are a true libertarian, and or not maybe a libertarian, but a true conservative that says send stuff to the states, send it all to the states.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying I think there's probably a lot more hurdles. I would imagine. I mean, obviously, to get a constitutional amendment than it is
Well,
to strip fucking that an what's it called, a fucking
a federal
uh,
institution
yeah,
or
like the
like a
Department of
fundamental
Education.
right.
Well, yeah, but
But the thing is, we already do send that to the states. Different states have different gun laws intentionally. That's why we argue over open carry versus concealed handgun licensing. Who has to register what? Illinois, California, Hawaii, um, Baltimore, well, Maryland. Like a lot of these states have like some pretty egregious like laws compared to places like Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas, Arizona, who have some pretty lax laws. So we've gone and we've seen where the gun issues are in those states. Those states they've already been pushed back to the states. The only thing that's federal is the fact that you can't take away all guns. They have to have some sort of allowance. But we've seen these states work well around that. You know what I mean? Like you can't have certain guns or long rifles in Hawaii. Chicago, hell, Washington D.C. was like you couldn't have guns in those cities for a long time, like handguns within city limits. So it's they passed ordinances until somebody challenged it to say, well, I at least have to have some avenue of obtaining one. You can't have a de facto ban. New York City, you're right up there in your home area. Juan, remember when New York had a ban on handguns on guns owners? And the only reason they don't have those bans now is because people didn't challenge the ban as on a local level. What they challenged was the ability of me not being able to have one at all. So
Yeah,
as long as you can provide some sort of system where I can get a a license or something.
I will say that I will agree with Beto that that is a step in the right direction. I think abortion should belong to the states. Actually, I was thinking about that. And this is why I might not consider. I don't think I'm a libertarian. I don't know. maybe it's a topic for a different day, and I'll write something about it on why I believe that maybe abortion should not be left up to the states completely, at least not whether it's legal or illegal. Maybe the details in abortion should be left to the states, but the abortion being legal should be left nationally. But I can talk about it a different day when I'm a little more versed, because I just thought about this like 2 nights ago. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm changing my mind on this, but I want to massage that out before I put my opinion out there. But I will say one more thing. This is a quote from Trump on Truth Social. Only a fool or a radical left Democrat would vote for this horrendous border bill, which only gives shutdown authority after 5,000 encounters a day when we already have the right to close the border now, which must be done. The bill is a great gift to the Democrats and a death wish for the Republican Party. It takes a horrible job the Democrats have done on immigration and the border, absolves them, and puts it squarely on the shoulders of Republicans. Don't be stupid. We need a separate border bill and immigration bill. It should not be tied to foreign aid in any way, shape, or form. So, Trump did come. I get it. Trump did come in and say, don't vote for this. So it's not hearsay. What his reasonings should not be tied to border aid. They close the border now.
When I said hearsay is when you were saying that they had the votes.
Oh, no.
You were saying that he literally called people up and told them not to do it.
That's one person saying, we have the votes.
No, that wasn't one person. McConnell said the same thing.
You didn't hear every individual tell you, yes, I'm voting for that. And then you did a count like,
no,
I heard everybody.
Of course. I don't know that information.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is until the votes cast, it's...
Until the votes cast, it's hearsay. I understand that. But I'm also not going to... I also can't dismiss the fact that several senators came out, Republican senators, and said we had the votes for this. Like, you can't discount that either. Like, I get it, it's hearsay. I don't know the actual numbers. I don't have that fact of 63 senators were going to vote for this. I don't.
I'm just saying, can you imagine how often this happens where somebody says,
no, it happens.
Hey man, no, yeah, we're good. And then they go vote and they're like, eh.
But if I had the time to Google it, I could find senators who had said they were going to vote for it and then came back out and said, never mind, I'm not going to go for it. After
I'm sure that happened.
This. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that did happen. Senators were going to vote for it. Trump started publishing stuff. Senators said, never mind. Right? All I'm trying to say is Trump does have influence on that floor.
He still plays votes. Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not, and his reasonings could be good. You know, foreign aid. I don't want more foreign aid going to Ukraine. Personally, I'm tired of that shit. So I might have sided with Trump and said, yeah, fuck that. So, so him killing it is not my issue. People saying he doesn't have the influence is my issue. He does have the influence on that floor.
You mean Kevin saying that?
Kevin saying that. Kevin being the
Kevin is people. Well, we beat that to death. The tips.
I didn't even get to say my last point, so I'll end with it. And it's a quote. It's a quote from Ron Paul. As he once said, so Ron Paul's issue with the taxing tips is that the same issue I had with economists where they said like, oh, we're going to lose $150 billion or whatever. And I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, that's fine. Find it from somewhere else. So I'll end with Ron Paul's quote. It is also long past time to stop talking about tax cuts costing the government money. Talking about tax cuts in terms of how much money they cost the government as opposed to how much money they leave in the hands of the people accepts the premise that government has a greater moral claim to the money than those who actually earned it. Saying cutting taxes costs the government money makes as much sense as saying stopping a mugger from taking everything in your wallet costs some mugger money. Instead, the politicians should worry about how much welfare and warfare spending cost taxpayers. Boom.
Bitch.
Until next time. Peace out. You are showing some nativity scene.
Naivete.